Tutorial 1, login fields using Entity Framework. So let's begin. So today I'm going to show you how we can create a login page using Entity Framework, and then once the page is created, then if the user is a valid user, we will be redirecting him to another page, but if it's not, then we'll show some validation failed message, and then he needs to put the correct information again. So let's begin by adding new project. It is going to be a web application with the name employee portal. So let's create an empty MVC project. So we have a step like this. We need to first add entity framework reference, create a entity data model. Third, we will be adding a model. Fourth, we will be adding controller, and fifth. So let's add. So let's start by adding reference. In the reference, go and right click and manage NuGet package. So search online for entity framework. So here you can say entity framework, install, and then accept, and then it will install in your application. So it is installed because there is a green tick mark. So now as you can see here is entity framework. So second we need to add a ADO.NET entity data model. For that, go to the project and right click and add a new item, and from there select the data. Inside data there is ADO.NET entity data model. So this is going to be employee data model. This is a database first approach. And then let's create a new connection. My computer name is dev012, and then the database. From here you need to add a database. Practice DB is my database. Let's test connection. Succeeded. So it is saying me that in the web config I will have a connection string by the name employee DB entities. Okay. So here, before going here, I would like to show you my table structure. So in the practice DB database, there is a table called dbl_login, and here you can see there are two users, user and admin. Suppose active. So let's go here in the table. Let's select dbl_login. So the namespace is employee DB model. Finish. So my entity, so my EDMX is being created here. So here you can see my EDMX is created, and it has like 4 properties: ID, username, password, and is active. So it's done. Second task is done. Now third, we need to add a model. So let's go and in the model, let's add a model. So it is going to be login model.sys. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a properties and then login. So just copy paste here. So here you can see I have 4 properties: int, ID, username, password, and is active. That exactly matches to the database. So these models I'll be using in the views, in the controllers as well. In the controller, I need to add a new controller here. Going to add a new controller. It is going to be login controller. So this is going to be login, and it is going to be, let's just copy paste from the code that I have already written, and I'll be explaining more. So here you can see it's saying I need to import a model. I need to import a namespace. So the namespace is employee portal.model, and here you can see this is the main page for the entrance point. So when we have a login/login controller login/login action method, then it goes to a login view where we input the user information. So we need to add our view. So let's go and add a view with the name login. Don't use the layout page for now. So this is the view for the login. So let's just copy paste the HTML for the login page. Here you can see I have used this model because this is a strongly typed control. So for this one, so if you F12 here, you can see that these are the exact properties, so you can directly use them. And here inside this HTML begin form, we have 3 controls: text box for username, password, and there is a checkbox for is active. Also, there is a submit button to submit the values once the user wants to submit his information. So if there's some validation failed message, so once the validation is failed, then it goes and shows some message like login failed. Now let's go here and change something in the app start config. So here you can see the default is home/index, but we have already changed it, so it is going to be login, because if there is nothing, then it will come in this controller login/login, and it will execute this action method. So let's go to this post method. So what it is doing here is when we post something here, it comes into this model, and then using the model username and the password, we can check if the user is a valid user. If it exists, and if the user.isActive equals true, then it is a valid user. If the user exists, then it is not null, so it goes inside this statement, and it returns a view called dashboard. So we don't have a dashboard, so let's add a view called dashboard. So we have already added. Now what you can see is you can just some simple message: welcome to dashboard. This is just making sure that the user is in the right page. So once he is successful, he will go to dashboard view. But if and the user is not valid, means user does not exist, or user is a bad user, then he will have a validation failed message with the help of this viewBag login failed equals true, and then he will be redirected to the same page. So so he will not be in another page until he inserts his information correct. So let's put a breakpoint here and check. But before that, we can see in the web config, like there is employee DB entities that we use while creating the entity data model. So this is what we are using here in the using statement. So let's start, and now you can see that there's nothing equal to login/login because that is the default. So here you can see, like, I'm putting test and is active. So as you can see from here, this there is user and admin, there is no test. So login, so it is going to this breakpoint, and if we check for this model, so it was coming like test, but now that does not exist, so it is null. So if it is null, then it does not go to dashboard, it return failed. So it will give us some login failed information. Now suppose we are putting admin, and then again we tried, it goes into the breakpoint, and then now you can see I mistakenly typed app 11, so that was what happening before. Now there is some user, because for this information this is a right user, and then user is not null, and then now it goes to the dashboard. So we have already added a dashboard, and if you press F5, then you can see welcome to dashboard. So this is how we can achieve a login page using the entity framework. One small thing I'd like to add here is, like, if there is some change in the EDMX, just go here, the EDMX file, just update the model from the database. So if you have a new table, you can add from here. So that's all for today. Please subscribe my videos for the updates, because I'll be adding some more upcoming tutorials related to this project, and then you can learn some more. If you have any feedbacks, please do comment in the comment section. Thank you.